The dogs cubano, or Cuban bull mastiff / bloodhound, were introduced in Cuba to capture enslaved people who ran away, and they would later be used in the States. Detailed Tyler D. Perry and Charlton W. Yingling. One traveler observed that Cuban trainers forced black men to abuse the dogs daily by whipping them while they were chained to the ground and simultaneously inciting the dogs to bite the men in reprisal. When the dogs had acquired a perfect hatred of their tormentor, the black trainer ran to the woods and dared the dogs to chase him. So yes, dogs were often trained to be racist based on their owners' behaviors, and this is a contemporary problem too.
Yo, that sounded smooth, y'all. I just have a
Oh God, I'm so sorry I keep doing that. Oh God, please forgive me. I get that from my father. He's from a different generation.
By the late 18th century, the breeding and selling of Cuban bloodhounds took off. These utilitarian pets were used by British and French colonists on their enslaved populations. Hundreds of these animals were given to the French during the Haitian Revolution in 1803, recalled contemporary historian Antoine Matral. White women colonists welcomed the disembarking dogs with laughter, flowers, and kisses, despite their awareness of the gruesome executions they would soon perpetuate. More of these animals, which were noted for enduring beatings so severe in training that they would normally kill any other species of dog, they were used in the Maroon Wars of the 18th century by British colonists on the Jamaican Maroons. And between 1835 and 1842, the U.S. government bought 3 dogo cubanos for $151.75 each and bred them for their ongoing war with Florida Seminoles, continuing their practice of using attack dogs on indigenous populations, which they had been doing since they first arrived to the continent. The Cuban bloodhounds were less effective in the swampy Florida region, which Seminoles used to their advantage. And speaking of, Wade in the Water is believed to be an instructional song for escaped enslaved people to wash away their scent in rivers and streams when being chased by the bloodhounds. Some quick-thinking enslaved people rubbed hot peppers on their heels to upset dog noses or rubbed onions on their bodies to mask their scents. As early as the 1790s, there had been editorials in northern newspapers denouncing the use of attack dogs on the enslaved, while slavery-loving newspapers contained ads bragging about their bloodhounds being the finest dogs for catching Negroes, which became more numerous after the Fugitive Slave Act in 1850. If you want your Negroes caught, send for Hamlin and Farmer, advertised in 1860 Kennel promoting its well-trained pack of Negro dogs at reasonable rates. Those men, J.W. Hamlet and Jacob D. Farmer, went from penniless Cheez-Its to wealthy businessmen because of their importation of bloodhounds from the Caribbean. The 1861 painting The Hunted Slaves by Richard Ansdell depicted hounds chasing down enslaved people in North Carolina, and numerous black writers from Frederick Douglass to Charles Ball mentioned dogs. The continued use of violent dogs by enslavers and slave catchers added to the weight of abolitionists' arguments that slavery was not a kind or benign institution. At the same time, black enslaved people were often forbidden to own dogs as pets or hunting aids. While the enslaved people at George Washington often were touted as having relatively abundant freedom because they had evenings, Sundays, and holidays off, they were still not allowed autonomy. Wrote George Washington in 1792, "It is not for any good purpose Negroes raise or keep dogs, but to aid them in their night robberies," before guiding his estate manager that the punishment for any enslaved breaking the rule would be severe and the dog hanged. Various counties and states would enact laws that restricted free black people and the enslaved from owning dogs.